يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. ليعذب الله المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات ويتوب الله على المؤمنين والمؤمنات وكان الله غفورا رحيما.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Shamsuddin Ogumiwa. I welcome you to another session of Oh You Will Believe. This is the 113th edition. We are waxing stronger, and all praises are due to Almighty Allah, who has given us this opportunity to increase in our deen and in our service. Alhamdulillah, 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 Rabbil Alameen. I welcome you all, and I ask you to take a moment to invite your friends, families all over the world, and let them know that Oh You Will Believe is on right now. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So today we're going to have a special panel of mothers, and the title is The Homemakers. What can we learn from them? What can we learn as young people? What can we learn as even children? And how do we continue to build our homes and build our masjid and build our ummah? That's what we are about to do today. Before I hand over to my sisters Zainab Williams Legalese to lead us in the recitation of the Quran, just want to let you know that please invite your friends and make sure that your microphone is always muted and you're not interrupting. You will have opportunity to ask questions and make comments. You can put your questions on the question chat, and when it comes to making comments, you raise up your hand, you will be called, and please let us be at attention. So we might be breaking off today mid-session so that we can observe our Maghrib Salat. So those are the housekeeping rules that we have today. So I want to go on to my sister Zainab Williams Legalese to lead us in the recitation of the Quran today. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Zainab Williams Legalese, and I'll be reading Surah Al-Balad for everyone today. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا أقسم بهذا البلد وأنت حل بهذا البلد ووالد وما ولد لقد خلقنا الإنسان في كبد أيحسب أن لن يقدر عليه أحد يقول أهلكت مالا لبدا أيحسب أن لم يره أحد ألم نجعل له عينين ولسانا وشفتين وهديناه النجدين فلاقتحم العقبة وما أدراك ما العقبة فك رقبة أو إطعام في يوم ذي مسغبة يتيما ذا مقربة أو مسكينا ذا متربة ثم كان من الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة أولئك أصحاب الميمنة والذين كفروا بآياتنا هم أصحاب المشأمة عليهم نار موصدة صدق الله العظيم.
Barakallah Faith. May Allah accept it from you. That was
Amen.
amazing. Thank you very much. Keep on improving yourself. Keep on being the friend of the Quran, and the Quran will always be your friend, your guide, and your savior. Inshallah, in Yawm al-Qiyamah. Thank you very much, my sister Zainab.
Thank you.
So now we are really ready to go in to meet our discussants today. So I'll hand over to the moderator, Professor Moshood Badreddin. Thank you very much for always being there for us. Bismillah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Jazakumullah khaira jaza Amal and Shams for starting us off. Also, I'm pleased to welcome everyone watching today or listening to this week's session of O Ye Who Believe. As Amal and Shams mentioned, it's a special program today. We have our mothers, a panel of mothers who will be deliberating on homemaking. I mean, it's very, very important and very significant in the sense that, I mean, we know how Islam positions mothers, ummahat, that is, I mean, the role of mothers in society, and also the role of the home itself. You know, the home is a very important element of society. When the home is well made, society will be fine. But when individual homes are not well made, it has a very negative impact on society. We are talking about homemaking from an Islamic perspective. I mean, we're going to cover a whole lot of issues today. Now, when we talk about homemaking, it's about, I mean, managing children, having relations with adult children and their spouses, you know, because, I mean, the family is broad, dealing with in-laws. I mean, these are issues, you know, companionship, you know, bringing up children and preparing for life at an elderly age, and also issues of polygamy and things like that. I mean, all this relates to the home. I'm really very privileged to introduce the panel. We have, I mean, 4 of our mothers. As I mentioned, you know, mothers are very, very important. Actually, you know, the wives of the Prophet, the Quran describes them in Surah Al-Ahzab as Ummahat al-Mu'minin, that is the mothers of the believers, because of the role they played in building the Muslim community right from the beginning. So it's really very important, and I'm pleased to introduce the panelists. The first person I will be introducing is our mother, Hajia Muslima Adilani. You know, Hajia Adilani is a student of, she describes herself as a student of knowledge. I mean, that part of the humility of our mothers in that regard. She had a first degree in childhood and youth studies, which is very relevant to the discussion we'll be having today. And she has a postgraduate certificate in primary education. So we are really privileged to have her. She's a versatile educator with keen interest in utilizing positive relationships to inspire children to get the best outcomes in childhood and youth years. She is passionate about children's development and socialization in a constantly changing world. And indeed, the world is changing, you know, and we have to really learn from the experiences of our mothers during their time in relation to the changing times now. Al-Hajia Adilani is an active member of FOMWA UK and Al-Uswa Welfare Trust. We welcome her, and may Allah count this as part of your act of worship to him, and may Allah reward you abundantly. We thank you so much for sparing time to be on this panel. The second person I will be introducing is Al-Hajia Fauzia Yusuf Jakari. I hope she is online yet. She is in the health sector. She has a diploma in mental health nursing from City University of London, and also a Bachelor of Science degree in mental health nursing from Buckingham University in London. She worked with the Central and Northwest London NHS Foundation Trust, and she retired as a senior staff nurse. And also she's a grandmother. She has been married since 1989. So she has a lot of experience to share with us regarding effective homemaking as a Muslim mother. Then I will now also introduce Alhaja Abi Akirile. Alhaja Akirile is also, a very well-established professional. She's a freelance researcher and data analyst. Interestingly, despite her not wanting to be seen, her impact is well felt in community. Her love for both religious and academic knowledge reflects in her professional activities. She is a leader and positive change factor. And she's a member of the board of trustees of As-Salatu Rahman. And she serves with many intergroup committees. She's also a mother and a grandmother. So we'll be able to learn a lot from Alhaja Abi Akirile. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. And we pray that Allah will put this in your Mizan al-Khair and count it as an act of worship for you, inshallah. Last but not the least is our mother, Alhaja Afusat Elias, MBE. Alhaja Mama is a respected member and leader of the Nigerian Black Muslim community in the UK and Ireland. She is also a very, respected mother within our community, and experienced one, within the system in the UK. She's a retired civil servant who is not tired. She's not tired at all. She keeps going. She keeps keeping up. She's not tired of spending her resources to bring smiles to the faces of people, and we can all bear witness to that. So you'll be able to see that today we have, our mothers, the cream of our society, as I would say, who will be sharing their experiences with us on homemaking. Now, we will kick off with a brief discussion of the importance of homemaking. When we need to put things in context. When we talk about homemaking, from your different perspectives, in relation to us as individual Muslims, in relation to the Muslim community, in relation to the nation as a whole, how important, should we, as Muslims, I think it's okay. Thank you, Alhaja Abi. How important should we actually place homemaking? Let me start with, Alhaja Muslima Adilani, your perception of homemaking, the importance of it, particularly for us as individuals and also for the community generally.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.
Sorry, my device was playing also. I've been on mute for a very long time. I didn't know what's happening, but I'm going straight to the question. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala ali sayyidina Ibrahim. Wa barik ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Kama barakta ala sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala ali sayyidina Ibrahim fil alamin innaka hamidum majid. Now, what I understand, my perception of homemaking is the person in charge of the home, the person who manages the home, the person who makes the house, not just a house, but a home. And the difference between a house and a home is there is a big difference. So a home is a place where you find peace, you find succor. A home is a place where you are willing to go back to, you want to, after going out or wherever you may be, you have that, you have it in mind, you have that solace that, oh, I have a place to go to where I can relax, where I can have a peace of mind, no matter what I'm going through. So that is what homemaking is. And how is it important to us? We know that the family is the bedrock of the society. And when a home is properly brought, when the home is properly managed, if all homes in the society are properly managed, then we know that the society will thrive. In the other way, if all homes or if many homes in the society are not properly managed, if the homemaking skills aren't there, if the people in charge of homemaking, which usually is women, if they are not upright, then there is a risk, of negative things happening within the society. Thank you.
Jazakumullah khaira jaza. That's really a very good start for us to have a good, understanding of, home. Now, Alaja Abi Akrili, Alaja Dilani did mention that, well, women play a very big, an important role in it. Could you perhaps maybe share some light, from your experience, in relation to the specific roles that, mothers play during your time? You may want to reflect over the changes in time. We're talking about homemaking, but women want to be career women. These days they want to. So please, if you want to reflect on that for us.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Maybe you are using two gadgets, so to be echoing. Okay.
Okay. I think I'll log off from one.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to log off from one, please.
Forgive me. I had trouble logging up earlier. Okay. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, that's better. Yes.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All praise be to Almighty Allah, Lord of the universe, Master of the day of judgment. I bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, best of mankind, last and the seal of all messengers, all protocol observed. To buttress what my sister said, homemaker. First, who are the homemakers? She's identified that it's mostly women. And women, you have to train women to train a nation. Somebody who wants to build a home must be educated. She must be flexible, spend time in the house. As she rightly said, the house is a abode of peace. House must be somewhere one is willing to come back to. A home, not a house, pardon me, must be a pleasant place, a peaceful place where you can nurture the family, where you can educate the family, grow and educate them in both Islamic way and in both Western world education. To build a nation, first we have to build a home. A home makes a community. Community makes the society. Society makes the nation. So if the women are not well educated, if they're not sound, how can they nurture, how can they bring up useful children for the community, for the society, for the nation at large? So education starts from home. Women must be educated first, then they educate their children in the right manner, both Islamic way and education, Western world as well.
Jazakumullah khaira jaza. Thank you very much. I'm trying to, because there are a whole lot of things we need to cover. Because of time, I will not want us to perhaps maybe all address the same question all over as we normally used to do, because we'll be stopping by 7:45 to all observe Maghrib and then come back, inshallah ta'ala. I'll go to our mother now, Raja MBE, Raja Hafsat Elias. Now, Raja, as I did mention, we appreciate that mothers play a very, very important, role in homemaking. From your own experience in relation to your homemaking experience in your time and now. Alaja Abi mentioned earlier that, well, women need to have education. But many women today, they want education. After the education, they want a career. I mean, we all have daughters. We want them to have a career. You were a civil servant, an accomplished civil servant before you retired. Do you want to help us look at, I mean, balancing between being an effective Muslim homemaker and also running a career? Or do we have to perhaps maybe live one for one?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
In my experience, we need to do them hand in hand. But my first concern is to pray, dua. And there are many times and places where dua is answered directly, recommended to us by our beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We mention some of the places that if we can follow it, it will lead us to the right path. The last third of the night between Adhan and Iqamah, while prostrating sujood after each obligatory salah, during the rain, when it's raining, if you call your Allah, He will answer you. And then while traveling, because you are not in your usual place, on the day of Arafah, in the month of Ramadan, when we are fasting, we concentrate on fasting and praying to Allah. While breaking the fast, while visiting the sick, because during those times, we are more closer to Allah, and Allah will direct us to the right path. And we should make sure that dua is the first thing foremost in whatever we do, and Allah will guide us aright. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I mean, that's a very important point. I mean, because I mean, balancing life's challenges requires our mothers, I mean, have to rely on dua, as every Muslim has to, which is really very important. And Alaja Elias has, I mean, kindly reminded us of the different times of acceptance of dua in order to be able to, I mean, seek Allah's help to manage our homes and to make our homes effectively. Now, coming to managing adult children and their spouses, I mean, Alaja Fauzia Yakari, you are a grandmom, you have adult children, and you see what is going on in society. I mean, you have also, I mean, worked in the NHS. We all know the challenges, issues of mental health. I mean, brought up by challenges sometimes even in relationships, you know. Now, in relation to homemaking, I mean, as for example, now, you'd be surprised. I mean, and the same thing applies in many Muslim families, you know, because of the rising cost in living, the rising cost in housing and things like, particularly in the London area. I was watching BBC some time ago, and people were being interviewed. And you find, you know, young adults, 30 years, 40 years, they were saying it proudly that because, I mean, they couldn't afford to pay rent, they are back home living with mommy. You know, you find, I was, you know, they said they are back home now, I'm living with my mom until I'm able to, and there are many Muslim homes experiencing that. So it's really very, very important to be able to, I mean, appreciate the relationship between adult children and their spouses. And if they are married, they live together. So, I mean, Alaja Fauzia Yusuf, perhaps, I mean, based on your experiences, this is part of homemaking. How should a Muslim woman handle this? I think Alaja Fauzia, we lost. Okay, she's here. Bismillah. You are muted, Alaja. Alaja, you are muted. We can't hear you. Okay.
Now,
Yes, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi
Wa
wa
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
With the situation with the bringing up a child and their policies, as an adult, we've raised our children to send them to education, give them good quality education, and when they are ready to choose a man or a lady or a wife, we sometimes they come and they bring the person, and we don't like the person, or we don't agree. I mean, for them to be together. I think what we should do in that sense is just try and understand try to understand, because your child loves this person, but you can't impose saying, oh, you have to like I don't have to like whoever they bring in, but I should try as a mother, and for the love I have for my child, to try to accommodate this person and try to understand what my child, sees in the person, and try to live with it. And I cannot, like, make it, compulsory, like impose my, oh, I'm so sorry, like.
No, Alaja, that's fine. I mean, take your time. Don't worry at all. It's not a formal,
just
go on.
Try to understand, where both of them are coming from, and try to live with it. Understand them and continue
to accommodate them. Alaja, you are raising a very important point, which I believe, accommodation.
Instead of, expressing my feelings to my own, either my daughter or my son, that look, I don't like this person. It can even get worse in that case. So we just have to try and deal with the situation by, supporting them, instead of arguing, or instead of trying to correct them or change their mind on, that person is not good enough for you, or they know why they are together, why they love themselves, why they want to live their life together. So, it's a difficult thing to do for a mother, but on the long run, whilst they are living together, the mother can, or the parents can end up liking this person, because you can't just judge someone seeing them for the first time and you are, oh, this one is, this and that. But just try to study them, understand where they are coming from, and
Jazakumullah khair jaza. That's a very good point. Homemaking is very challenging. And when we are talking about homemaking, we are talking about, as I said, making the home itself in order for it to be better for society. And there are so many people in it. We are talking about mothers. The mother may not live alone. The father is there. The relationship between the mother and the husband, sometimes, as we say, adult children, due to circumstances, may be there, and their wives. And one of the challenges is what Alaja Jakari has raised in relation to perhaps maybe how to deal with it. Now, Alaja Adelani, now, what is your perspective on this? Alaja has indicated, talked about accommodation, trying not to, fall into arguments with them. I want you to take that with actually also, relationship with even our husbands and vice versa, then other members within the family and the challenges that, that might bring and how we deal with it.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. As mothers, because of the, the trust that Allah has put on us, I want to refer us back to the Prophet's hadith, the Kulukum Ra'in hadith, which says each of us is a shepherd. So the man is the shepherd of the house, and the woman is the shepherd of the children and the husband's house. So that places more burden on us as women. And as women, because we are homemakers, it's not just about the home, it's about managing the home in itself and the people within the home. So, right. The onus lies in us. We are the ones, we are like the cord, that brings everyone together. And as Allah has created us, He's created us differently. We know that, okay, the men have their own, they have their qualities. And they have what they will do in the house. We know, okay, Islam says the man is a qawamun ala nisai because of the way they have been created, because they have more things than us. So if the man is the head of the house, is the qawamun, but the woman is the one that, she is the manager. She's the one that will, in addition to being submissive to the husband, she will be the one to direct the children, to support the children as well, to make the home, to make sure there is good food put on the table. So when we have the extended family living together, the onus still lies in the mother of the house. And then she could bring even the wives of the daughter-in-law as well, because these are the women of the house. They are the ones that will know how to manage here and there to bring everyone together on the same table. But if the women are not, if they are not working in alignment, then the home may be broken, because we know that even though let's take the instance of the child, of the son, for instance, the son has the responsibility to his mother and he has the responsibility to his wife as well. So the onus lies on us as women, first and foremost, before motherhood, before wifehood. We should be mindful of why Allah created us. Why did He create us? Is to worship Him. And with our good intentions, we can bring everything under worship. Our homemaking, we can make the intention that, oh Allah, I want to serve you by making my home. If we want to serve Allah by making the home, then the priority will be to bring peace to the home. So it's very important we are mindful of that. We know that there is a difference in the societal values now. The way we grew up is different to the way the children now are growing up, but Islam remains the same. For instance, the qualities of a man is still the same in Islam, and the qualities of the woman as well, even though most of us have gone into education and we have white-collar jobs, we still maintain our home. And one thing I would want to stress is that, we, especially those of us that are in the workforce, we experience a lot of mom guilt. And if there's anything wrong, we rush down, to thinking that, oh, is it because I'm not at home all the time with the children? But I want to put this, that even some women, though this is not in gratification, some women who are homebound with their children 24 hours, some of their children turn in the ways we do not want. And we have women who work, because I think even by working, it puts us on our toes, because we know that we want to we have the home, that's the most important one to take care of, and we are working. So we are able to marry the two together. So, the anxiety or the doubt and the guilt that we always feel at times is not worth it. The most important thing is to strive as much as possible. In this world, we are here to strive, and the reward is in the hereafter. So if we do something and it doesn't work out well, it doesn't give us a positive outcome, then we can change. We can find another way of doing it. That is very good with us women because we are flexible. I know with our men, it may be difficult to bring upon change to a man that has been living in a certain way right from childhood. You wouldn't want to change a man maybe in their 50s or in their 40s. But women are willing to change, and I'm sure even our grandmas here will have tried different techniques with their grandchildren just to bring out positive outcome from them. So if we have it at the back of our mind that we want to please Allah, then we will be able to bring the house together in unison.
Jazakumullah khairan. Jaza. Homemaking as a means of pleasing Allah, homemaking as a means of serving Allah. That's really a very important point because of the fact that, and I'm coming to Laja Abi now before I come to Mama Elias. It's very, yes, we appreciate that. We love to say that. And this is what the ideal we hope for, that, the Muslim woman, the homemaker, and even the man should really consider this as worship and accommodate, try to do well. But you said, in Islamic sources, they call something tatbiq. When we come to practical aspect of things, human beings sometimes, you find ourselves, and the world itself now is very stressful. As you rightly mentioned, there's a lot of stress. And we see this all the time. In the context that, for example, sometimes, the responsibility of homemaking, some men might not see it as really a job. That, well, what is it? And as you said, marrying, homemaking with our white-collar jobs and office jobs. The man might have gone to work. The woman also went to work. But after they meet at home, the man wants the woman to still do so many things. You have to do this. You have to. Sometimes, this could be stressful in the sense that, and human beings are human beings. And sometimes, this could flare up and create arguments and things in the house. So in relation to spousal companionship, in such instances, I want us to look at this practical, not just the theoretical that, well, we have to just accept and be good Muslims and things like that. When we face these practical challenges, whereby you are really tired, you are really under stress, really as a human being, Alaja Abi, from your own experiences as a mother, how will you advise our, upcoming mothers, homemakers, our sisters, our daughters, to be able to deal with the stress of homemaking?
To start with, I'll say fear of Allah. If we have taqwa in our mind and we know we've established that home should be a peaceful place, we should be able to accommodate each other. We are helpers. Wife should be able to help the husband. Husband should be able to help the wife. Even if the wife has been at home all day, looking after the family, tidying the house, that doesn't stop the husband coming back home, doing a little bit here and there to support the wife. If we work together and treat each other well, say I have my son-in-law living with me now, what I wouldn't want my daughter to go through, I shouldn't put him through it. I shouldn't put too much burden on any in-law. At the wedding, we're told we're gaining a son or we're gaining a daughter. So why not treat them like one of us? If we don't differentiate, if we don't put too much burden on the other person and we live with fear of Allah, everything will work out well. We shouldn't be judgmental. When they bring issues to us, we should listen more and talk less. Even if there's argument or there is something going on between the two spouses, if we have to deal with it, we deal with it with fear of Allah. Oh, he didn't help me with the shopping, or he didn't help me looking after the baby. We must know how to relate between the two. We shouldn't be on one side. If we have fear of Allah, in Quran 2 verse 285, It says, whatever we conceal in our mind, Allah sees it. And as my sister Alaja Delani said earlier, we are shepherd. We'll be held accountable for whatever we do. Come the day of Qiyamah, Allah will ask us, we're shepherd, we're guardians, Adaron Jeniwa. How did we cope? How did we handle things? So I think if we work with fear of Allah and we're supportive of each other, home will be a peaceful home to come to.
Jazakumullah khaira. Wa alaikum salam. Jazakumullah khaira jaza. I mean, Alaja, as you did, rightly mentioned, you also refer to the hadith on the fact that we are all shepherds, and Allah will ask us how we treated our sheep. And one other important point you raised there, which I want to emphasize, talking about in-laws, that we should treat perhaps maybe our daughters in-laws, our son-in-laws as our own. I will perhaps maybe emphasize that let us remove the us away from it. Our daughter-in-laws are our daughters. This is why we can't marry them. Our own daughters are our daughters in fact, but our daughters-in-law are our daughters-in-law. They are not as our daughters. They are actually our daughters. That is why we cannot marry them. Similar way, we cannot marry our own daughters. So This is really very, very important. If we treat them, in the way we treat our own daughters, we'll be able to, a lot of the time we protect our daughters when they do some things. We treat them quite bad for but when they come to our daughters-in-laws, we are really very, we want to be, they are our daughters, and our son-in-laws are our sons. This is why we cannot marry them. So that's really very important. We need to emphasize that. Now, before we break for Maghrib, let me come to Alaja Mama Elias. Now, Mama, I want to really, because we do share your wisdom a lot of the time in the man community, you try to bring in your experience. Do you see any difference in how we make the homes, how our mothers make homes, how you made homes during your old time, whereby, we have all grown up to be good as we are, to how homes are built today? Should it be in the same way, or can we learn from how you did it?
It's not. Salamu alaikum. It's not the same. It's not the same way. It's different, because when we learn to discipline our tongue, you will start talking ill about people, condemning people, and you will then focus on your own weaknesses. When you have time to do that, the world will be in a better place today. Okay. And another thing is good to listen to the children. One of my daughters said something which I was really surprised. She said they are doing seminar, maybe in the uni or something, and each children, they are saying their experience, what is going on in their own house, how the parents behave, what's going on. What she said, I was really, really surprised. Even the teacher said, really? She said, until my dad passed away, I never see my mom and my dad arguing. And they never call us name. I don't even, they argue or they say something, but they never do it in our presence. So we cannot say that some of the other children where the father will get drunk and beat them up or beat the mother. She said, that won't happen in our household. And it never happened. I said, you said that? She said, yes, Mom, it's true. It's true. I never see two of you arguing. She said, you know what? God that is making human being, the way he put it, I think he has done good job in the past. We just need to pray now that those one coming to be better than the grandma from old school. because that is how he called us. He said, grandma from old school, grandfather from old school. He said, the world is going to an end nowadays. May Allah guide us aright and show us the right path, because things are changing. It's different all over the world. It doesn't mean our side alone, all over the world. We just need to pray to Allah to guide us, show us the right path, and lead us and answer our prayer.
Jazakumullah khair jaza. Thank you so much, for that, advice, particularly controlling our tongue, and that is actually where it starts from. In relation to, as Alaja Mama mentioned, we can all, be able to bear witness to that. Our fathers, our grandfathers, they really watched their tongue. The way they communicated with one another, our fathers and mothers. But today, things have changed a lot. But we can also still learn from that. Now, it's time for Maghrib here in Croydon. For us to be able to, just for about 10 minutes, let's break for Maghrib, and we'll come back at 8 o'clock, inshallah, after we pray Maghrib, and then we can continue. We then go on to look at, preparing for life at 60 and above 60 from the perspective of the home. And we'll also be able to take questions. I know perhaps maybe there will be a lot of questions, on this after we might have come back. So let's break up now, inshallah. We'll go and pray Maghrib, and we'll come back, perhaps at 5 minutes past 8. Let us give us 15 minutes to be able to have enough time to do that. So we see you at 8:05. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sunday.
Sorry, can you mute if you are and they can't hear? You need to increase the interlude.
وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا وآتوا اليتامى أموالهم ولا تتبدلوا الخبيث بالطيب ولا تأكلوا أموالهم إلى أموالكم إنه كان حوبا كبيرا وإن خفتم ألا تقسطوا في اليتامى فانكحوا ما طاب لكم من النساء مثنى وثلاث ورباع فإن خفتم ألا تعدلوا فواحدة أو ما ملكت أيمانكم ذلك أدنى ألا تعولوا وآتوا النساء صدقاتهن نحلة فإن طبن لكم عن شيء منه نفسا فكلوه هنيئا مريئا ولا تؤتوا السفهاء أموالكم التي جعل الله لكم قياما وارزقوهم فيها واكسوهم وقولوا لهم قولا معروفا وابتلوا اليتامى حتى إذا بلغوا النكاح فإن آنستم منهم رشدا فادفعوا إليهم أموالهم ولا تأكلوها إسرافا وبدارا أن يكبروا ومن كان غنيا فليستعفف ومن كان فقيرا فليأكل بالمعروف فإذا دفعتم إليهم أموالهم فأشهدوا عليهم وكفى بالله حسيبا للرجال نصيب مما ترك الوالدان والأقربون وللنساء نصيب مما ترك الوالدان والأقربون مما قل منه أو كثر نصيبا مفروضا وإذا حضر القسمة أولو القربى واليتامى والمساكين فارزقوهم منه وقولوا لهم قولا معروفا وليخشى الذين لو تركوا من خلفهم ذرية ضعافا خافوا عليهم فليتقوا الله وليقولوا قولا سديدا إن الذين يأكلون أموال اليتامى ظلما إنما يأكلون في بطونهم نارا وسيصلون سعيرا يوصيكم الله في أولادكم للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين فإن كن نساء فوق 2 فلهن ثلثا ما ترك وإن كانت واحدة فلها النصف ولأبويه لكل واحد منهما السدس مما ترك إن كان له ولد فإن لم يكن له ولد وورثه أبواه فلأمه الثلث فإن كان له إخوة فلأمه السدس من بعد وصية يوصي بها أو دين آباؤكم وأبناؤكم لا تدرون أيهم أقرب لكم نفعا فريضة من الله إن الله كان عليما حكيما ولكم نصف ما ترك أزواجكم إن لم يكن لهن ولد فإن كان لهن ولد فلكم الربع مما تركن من بعد وصية يوصين بها أو دين ولهن الربع مما تركتم إن لم يكن لكم ولد فإن كان لكم ولد فلهن الثمن مما تركتم من بعد وصية توصون بها أو دين وإن كان رجل يورث كلالة أو امرأة وله أخ أو أخت فلكل واحد منهما السدس فإن كانوا أكثر من ذلك فهم شركاء في الثلث من بعد وصية يوصى بها أو دين غير مضار وصية من الله والله عليم حليم. تلك حدود الله، ومن يطع الله ورسوله يدخله جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها، وذلك الفوز العظيم. ومن يعص الله ورسوله ويتعد حدوده يدخله نارا خالدا فيها وله عذاب مهين. واللاتي يأتين الفاحشة من نسائكم فاستشهدوا عليهن 4 منكم، فإن شهدوا فأمسكوهن في البيوت حتى يتوفاهن الموت أو يجعل الله لهن سبيلا. واللذان يأتيانها منكم فآذوهما، فإن تابا وأصلحا فأعرضوا عنهما، إن الله كان توابا رحيما. إنما التوبة على الله للذين يعملون السوء بجهالة ثم يتوبون من قريب.
I was reading about that judge. People call him a saint.
Hector's hiding something.
Everyone has a choice.
We have hundreds of students worldwide and collectively generating over $1 million in revenue with their online businesses every month.
26,000 in sales.
1.3 million a month.
35k per month.
I think I'm on 26k.
MashaAllah, I'm doing over.
فأولئك يتوب الله عليهم وكان الله عليما حكيما. وليست التوبة للذين يعملون السيئات حتى إذا حضر أحدهم الموت قال إني تبت الآن، ولا الذين يموتون وهم كفار، أولئك أعتدنا لهم عذابا أليما. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يحل لكم أن ترثوا النساء كرها ولا تعضلوهن لتذهبوا ببعض ما آتيتموهن إلا أن يأتين بفاحشة مبينة، وعاشروهن بالمعروف، فإن كرهتموهن فعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا ويجعل الله فيه خيرا كثيرا. وإن أردتم استبدال زوج
The mosque is the soul of the Muslim community. It is the hub of life-giving and spiritually fulfilling activities, feeding of people on the street, youth camp, empowerment of women, and care for the elderly. The timely and effective COVID-19 intervention on OU Who Believe, our online lecture series, is a masterpiece. The Visit My Mosque project breaks barriers. We take pride in the blend of our mosque users who cut across color, gender, age, and social differences. Academic, moral, and spiritual education is catered for at the Markaz. The 5 daily prayer, Jum'ah service, our healthy living, counseling, marriage, naming, and burial arrangements are top quality. The Old Kent Road Mosque and Islamic Cultural Center, where we do these and more, is now in ground zero. Our faith in Allah and your great contributions can make the 6-story building a reality. Please donate and encourage others around you to donate towards the rebuilding of the house of Allah. May Allah bless you abundantly. Ameen.
My parents chose to name me Old Kent Road Islamic and Cultural Center as a baby, and when the time came for me to start my family, my daughter was also named at this masjid.
Same as my story, I was also born and named there. I attended Markaz and used to play football after classes with my mates.
The Old Kent Road Mosque and Islamic Cultural Center, MAN UK, is a community where all Muslims enjoy the bond of brotherhood and the sweetness of sisterhood.
Old Kent Road Masjid has played an important role in my spiritual and social development and that of my young family.
It is a home, a place of solace for everyone, especially the Muslims of African descent living in London, United Kingdom.
This is a heritage we treasure and must preserve for the next generation. We need you to make this dream come true.
Kindly donate and encourage your family, friends, and loved ones to contribute towards the rebuilding of our mosque.
May Allah bless and reward you abundantly. Allahumma Ameen.
Please help build our mosque.
Okay, Jazakumullah khaira jaza. We are back. May Allah accept our Maghrib, inshallah. May He preserve us for Isha and thereafter, inshallah ta'ala. Before we proceed, I want to remind us about, the clips we saw. The Old Kent Road Mosque and Islamic Cultural Center project is still on. We still need a lot of money to bring the project to fruition, to completion. So we'll continue to call for donations. All those who have been donating silently and even publicly, in kind, in cash, in everything, we thank you. May Allah continue to replenish you, replenish your pocket, and may Allah reward you both here in this world and the hereafter. You know, it's our mosque. We have to really continue dipping our hands into our pockets. And in whatever way, in every way that we can do, no matter how small, no matter how big, we should let the project be, in front of us all the time and continue to contribute towards it, inshallah ta'ala. Perhaps maybe I'll give us advance notice again that, next week on OU Who Believe, we will do an active fundraising, but perhaps maybe from time to time, we'll be doing active fundraising on OU Who Believe. and I'll be giving us advance notice. So next week, inshallah, please prepare so that we can be able to, really make contributions towards this. May Allah make it easy for every one of us. Now we'll come back. we will, I hope, inshallah, I'll seek your indulgence. The 15 minutes we took to, serve Allah, to do our act of ibadah, worship, we'll put it on, and perhaps, we'll stop by 8:45 today instead of 8:30. We'll replenish, we'll compensate that 15 minutes. Now, I would just want to ask, two questions in one, briefly around, so that we can have enough time for questions and answers. And please participate. This is a very important topic. It's a live topic, practical thing that, we want contributions from the floor. So we hope that, our audience will be ready to put specific questions on this to our mothers. We are privileged to have them. So let the questions start flowing after we go this round. The question I want to put is this. All our foremothers we have here are experienced. Most of them have been in marriage for a very long time. And I want us to individually look at what is the secret of you being able to preserve your marriage. That is, your family, your home. What is the secret of you being able to preserve it? What advice do you want to give? Because if we say that a homemaking, the home must be there. If it is not there, what are you going to make? So, give us some hints, particularly our children coming from behind. Then the second question is retirement. We are growing, we are not as we are yesterday. Many of us, Mama Elias, Alaja Fauzia, what is life like in retirement? What do you want to advise? Alaja Abi, what do you want to advise our youth coming in relation to what should they prepare for? In relation to enjoy, continue building a home and to make the home pleasant even after retirement. So these two questions, preservation of the home and also life after retirement. Let me start with Alaja Yusuf Yakari, because you're both relates to you. Married since 1998, retired now. So give us the hints, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Retirement is one thing we all going to go through. We can't, it's something we don't, we try to, we prepare ourselves for.
Yeah.
We have to be organized. Now that personally I am retired, but I'm not tired because I'm still
tired, yes.
But still being semi-retired, I'm using the last few years I've got to prepare myself fully for full retirement, which means I need to be organized to make sure that I plan things ahead. I don't like living in poverty. So I want to, I prepare myself to at least have something going on when I'm fully retired, because the retirement benefits here will not probably be enough to, maintain the house and the family. Because despite the fact that all our children are all grown up on their own, we need money to sustain ourselves, to carry on with our lives without having to bother children. So we need to organize to, arrange, probably invest, something else to be coming, something to top up our pension in this country. So we do that. We plan with the children, like if anything happens, what they should do, because, well, if we are lucky, we are still mentally stable until God knows how many years. For instance, Alaja Elias, when I see them, I just pray that God, please, when I'm up to their age, I wish I'm functional like this. To be able to at least reason, understand people, not physically unwell and, housebound or something. But at least if you can move out, you can walk, you can still talk, you can still mingle with people. That is one good thing that we should pray and thank God for if we have. So we prepare ourselves in case that, if it's happened that I can't do this at this time, children, this is what I want you to do, because it's just by the grace of God that we are all, those who are not as old, as young as us, they are not functioning properly. They are not up to 60, but they are housebound, they are bedbound, they can't talk, they can't do anything. It's part of old age, but we can function and understand how things work around us at this time. And secondly, we need to make a will with whatever we have. We need to be able to say, this is how I want things to go, because as a retired person, you don't make a will. Unfortunately, the person died unexpectedly. The government will mess you up, will mess the family up, because they will share your things the way you don't want. So it's because things like that, you don't think of that when you make my will, but it's wrong for us. We need to do this. It is very important. Personally, I haven't done. I'm thinking
that's very good advice. Now, sustaining marriage. How did you sustain your marriage from 1989?
Well,
it's by Allah.
Most important thing is prayerful, patient, tolerant, and we try to understand each other.
Okay, Jazakumullah khairan jaza, patience, tolerance, prayer, and understanding one another. Jazakumullah khairan jaza. Okay.
Yes.
Let me go to, okay. Because of the time, let me go to Alhaja Akirili now on the same 2 points. Alhaja, give us your hints.
Assalamu alaikum. My sister said it all. Patience, suru. Ẹ̀yin àgbàlagbà ní tí sùúrù ò bá kò kí ń pọ̀ jù àfi tí ò bá tó. Yes. Hausa máa ń pòwe kan wá ní àjí àfi jí, àgànni àfi gànni. Kéèyàn rí kó ṣe bí ẹni tí ò rí. Kéèyàn gbọ́ kó ṣe bí ẹni tí ò gbọ́. I mean, that's
oríkè ànábì kan nìyẹn.
So sùúrù àti sùúrù and àdúrà. We have to engage in prayer. We have to be prayerful. Just like my sister said. Let me move on to retirement. Like she rightly said, one have to plan. Yes, make plan for the future. 60 these days are like 40 of those days. Statistics shows that people are living longer.
Yeah.
Yes, we should eat healthy food, go out more, mingle. There's outdoor classes for Quran these days. Even if one has finished the whole Quran, it's more one day. Arabic class one day. There are lots of things we can engage in to occupy our time. And if people want to see the world, why not? This is the best time to see it. 60s have worked all their life. This is the time to enjoy your hard work. So make new friends, meaningful friends, useful friends. Invest in your future. Some of us on this platform will remember the story of Robert Maxwell of Daily Mirror. If we have to invest, let's invest wisely. If we have to put some things in the pot towards our pension, let's do it wisely. There are Islamic organizations out there where we can put in something. Like Alhaja rightly said, we can top up our pension pot, even where this country is going now. Maybe by the time in another 10, 15 years. State pension, that is another story. So make meaningful friends, go out more, eat well, don't just sit at home. One can still make changes, especially to diets. All this unhealthy basia mola that we've been taking these days, we can reduce it because the body is not using as much as we used to when we were younger. So we can reduce the portion we take and lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, make meaningful friends, and travel, see the world. Allah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Jazakumullahu khaira. Just a very important, hints there. Alaja Elias, let me come to you. Alaja, you also, will be able to give us hints on sustaining marriage and life in retirement.
First thing foremost, both parties should be happy in the house. If you go and visit people where there is happiness in the house, you will first of all notice from the door when they open the door for you, because the children will be happy. Mainly girls, they like showing off and they talk a lot. Girls talk a lot, boys, they are shy. But whatever the father has done or the mother, they will tell you before you even enter their house. And no need of fighting, no quarreling. You can't gain anything from that. Those type of things shorten people's life.
Nice, yeah.
Laugh. When you talk to each other, you laugh, you read magazine together, you watch telly together. What you have done when you are young, you can say it, he will say his own. And then, like my sister said, we need to be careful what we are eating. I, for instance, I've been 56 in this country. I don't eat English food. I prefer my national food. You eat what you feel good. You eat and you are happy. And women, we should command respect. When people see you, they like you. They don't need to know who you are or where you come from. Even coming from afar, people will like to talk to you. They will like to greet you. Be happy. Make yourself happy. Make your husband happy. Make your children happy. They will like to talk to you. Children will be very closer to you. That's some of the ingredients of the happy married life. And you don't need to talk whatever is going under your roof in your household. You don't need to tell anybody because they will use it as a weapon against you. So mind your tongue. Don't talk ill about people. About what?
Retirement.
Those two speakers have said it all. You need to put something aside. In those days, you got to work for life. Nowadays, only God that is providing work for each and every one of us. Because the money doesn't go far. Yeah. They haven't even got money anymore in this country. In those days, it's Great Britain. May Allah still make it great. We just need to pray because this is Wali Asri. Only God knows where we are heading to.
Jazakumullah khairan jaza, Alaja. Thank you so much for your, kind advice, elderly advice. Alaja Adelani, your hints on those two issues before we open the door for questions.
Yeah, my mothers have said, they've said it all, but, as they were talking, something just cropped up to my mind, and I would want to add that when we are approaching that age, when we reach that age, we should try as much as possible, to pay off the debts that we have and not to take further debts, because by that age, they said the Prophet ﷺ said the age of his ummah is between 60 and 70 years. He himself died at the age of 63. So by that age, is an age where we should be looking for Allah's face, Allah's pleasure in whatever we do. And I'm not sure who reported the hadith. I know I've had the hadith that says there will be Allah will not take the excuse of someone that has reached the age of 60, because maybe the person would have, they've spent a considerable amount of time in their lives whereby they should have been able to amass a lot of good deeds. So paying off the debt is one thing, so that, like Elijah rightly said, that if someone dies, without a will, then the estate left is messed up. And then I think maybe identifying who the power of attorney will be. I know a sister has given us the lecture at some point in time, where just in case of eventualities or in case of things that we are not prepared for, may Allah give us a good old age, whereby we would attain his rahmah in this life and in the hereafter.
Ameen.
Jazakumullah khaira jaza. Thank you so much. Let's open the door for questions now. Control room, we still have about 20 minutes. So let's take questions. And I believe, questions will be coming left, right, and center for our mothers. Bismillah, control room.
Yeah, kindly feel free to raise your hands. The first question I have here, okay, it's a suggestion that OU will believe should commence from 6 p.m. That's a suggestion from someone.
Well, that's a good point. We've considered it, but one other consideration, that have come forward is that, at 6 o'clock, because people have gone back to work now, many people close at 5:30. By 6 o'clock, they may not be at home yet in order to be able to join. So the other alternative is that we continue at 7 and break for Maghrib until perhaps, down the road, when Isha also comes closer, then we'll move up to 8 to 9:30 as we used to do before. But we'll consider that and see. If it's 6 o'clock, we'll move it, and then let you know. But if we decide to keep it at, this time and then break for Maghrib, we'll also take a decision, inshallah, and then let the audience know, inshallah. Control room.
Somebody, Martins Oyewale, please unmute yourself. Martins Oyewale. Okay. Matt Yusuf.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Grand Commander.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Just want to thank our mothers for the brilliant job that they did. And I was, I'm concerned as well because I was thinking, what would my wife say about me? But alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, visit her.
Oh, that's
what
good.
Have you done to her?
What have you done to her? That's, yes, thank you. That's a good one. Okay, go on.
MashaAllah. My question is to Mama Elias. During your talk, you mentioned that your daughter said to you once that she told you that she's never had you and her dad having any misunderstanding. And I'm thinking, is there, for you to explain further, because is that not passing a wrong message to children? Because that is the notion that we take and take out. So if they have a husband who maybe nags, and because they haven't seen their dad and mom having any misunderstanding, they'll be looking at it as this is a straight thing. I think it is healthy to have a constructive argument. So please, can you shed light? Because I know you shortened it. It's not that you don't have argument. I'm sorry, I don't want to say what you say, but can you explain further? Jazakumullah khair.
What she said she never see two of us arguing or abusing each other, which some people do. It doesn't mean we don't argue. Even I will be speaking Ijebu, and she understands Ijebu more than me that was born in that with that dialect. It doesn't mean we don't argue, but it won't go to the extent of abusing my parents, or I will be abusing my mother-in-law or father-in-law. We can argue, but it won't go to the extent that the children will be frightened anytime that both of us are in the house, which some people do. Even
okay.
Even there is a man who came one day to collect the children when I used to sit with them. I don't know what has happened to him. He asked the boy to go and get the shoe, and the boy was going. The next thing I heard, he started abusing the mother of that boy. And I turned around and I said, "Where do you come from?" He said, "Nigeria." I said, "I don't think so." She said, "What do you mean?" The boy you are talking to is in front of you, and the boy is going to get the shoe. The boy will be about 6 or 7. The mother hasn't done anything wrong to you. Why abusing the mother? Things like that. I said, if you will be doing that, I will have word with the head of the Marika. You will keep your son in your house, because don't come here and corrupt the other children.
Jazakumullah khair, Jaza. Thank you, Alaja. I mean, as Alaja rightly said, yes, people can argue, but I mean, usually the right thing is not to argue in front of the children, so that, I mean, it doesn't impact on them. Thank you so much. Further questions?
I think Martins Oyewale, you can now talk. I can see you're muted. Hello? Okay, so we'll go to Taiba Sharafaddin. Please unmute yourself, Taiba Sharafaddin.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, I must first thank all our mothers and fathers for the enlightening session we've been listening to so far. It has been really, really enlightening and educative for me, I must say. Thank you, Jazakumullah khairan. So my question, I saw something, I heard something earlier about will. So I wanted to make sure to, talking from my knowledge, the knowledge I have about will is that it is not acceptable in Islam. So I want to be sure if there is some other fatwa, just to add to my knowledge base, so to speak. Thank you very much.
Okay, Jazakumullah khair, Jaza. I mean, straightforward. I mean, will is not prohibited. It only has limitations. Under Islamic law, you can make a will, but to the extent of 1/3 of your estate. The remaining estate will be distributed, according to the prescription of the Sharia. But if you live in this country, because Islamic law is not followed in this country, actually for you to get your estate to be distributed according to Islamic law, that must also be incorporated into a will. This is why it is important to do a will in the UK. If you actually want your estate to be distributed according to Islamic law, and there's a way of doing it. You don't just do it, that, well, I want my will, I want my estate to be distributed according to Islamic law. If you just write it like that, it won't go. because I mean, there have been cases where it has been decided that, well, the way Islam distributes its, particular in relation to the male and female, that's against public policy in the UK. So they don't follow it. So if you want to do it, you have to, but you are allowed to distribute your property as you like. You have to indicate the numbers. You have to indicate the numbers of what goes to your daughter, what goes to your son, if you die leaving a daughter. So we have to indicate the clear numbers. If you indicate the clear fractions, nobody can challenge that. It's your property. You can distribute it in a fraction you want. But if you just say that as Islamic law, it will be knocked out, especially if you have female children, because of the rule of 2 to 1. They will say it's against public policy in the UK and they will not follow it. So it's very important, in the UK, even if you want to distribute as Islam, you have to do a will to get that done. And there are so many Muslim lawyers who can help you do that if you want to do that. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, very well. Quite enlightening. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khairan, sir.
Okay, well, yeah. Further questions, please.
Prof, I'm going to take 2 questions together because they are directed at the man management. The first one says that the person is asking if all these mothers are from Man UK, and that if that is so, is giving a special thank you to all the Afars, the Imams, for the good work you have done. And also, the second question is, somebody said Sheikh Kabir Kabo Usman, Director General of ICICE Abuja, visited ICC London recently. They want to know if he visited Man UK and gave any indication on how he and his office may contribute and support the Rebuild project.
Well, that's really very interesting. I was not aware of that, but I mean, the management is here. I hope, but I'm not aware that, we had visitors recently about, 2 Fridays ago, or last Friday, I think, was it? But not Sheikh Kabir Kabo Usman. So we don't know if he's still in the UK. Perhaps, if that person who posted that information knows him, we'll be happy to receive him. And this is what we are saying. If you have information about people who are here who can help, just let them know, let us know, and we'll be happy to receive them. But I'm not aware that, Alhaji Kabo, Sheikh Kabo was at any time received at Man. The management, if there's any contrary information on that, please let us know. Further questions, please.
I believe you're right.
Okay, Jazakumullah.
Take more hand raise and then come back to question. Michael Mateson.
Okay.
Mikhail Mateson. Oh my God.
Mikhail Mateson, yes.
Apology, please. Mikhail Mateson.
Mikhail Mateson.
I'm really sorry, sir.
No problem. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's been a long time I've spoken to my prof. I'm going to become a prof, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan.
First of all, I want to thank our amiable speakers. They did very well building our homes. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all.
Ameen Allah.
I just want to make a little contribution. At the same time, I want to inquire about the next forum, the time. Are we changing the time next Wednesday, or you are still to communicate? Just let me be clear on that first before I make my contribution, sir.
Okay, well, we could make a decision here. We have 75 people on the, the right thing would be to move it to 6. For example, if we move it to 6 o'clock, up to 7:30, as we have 1.5 hours, it keeps us safe between Asri and Maghrib. But the point is that, but the point is, we don't know whether people will be able to be ready for 6. Because, when we were using 6 o'clock, it was during lockdown when people were working from home. So we don't know whether 6 o'clock will be convenient for everybody. But we have 75, people online now, and that's our average number daily. So will people be amenable to starting at 6 and ending at 7:30?
I think to me, I think it would be better we move it to after Maghrib. Well, Maghrib will be moving backward, as you know. So I think after Maghrib will be better.
Okay, so you are suggesting perhaps maybe 8 o'clock to 9:30. We have used that time also
Isha,
before.
we can always do our Isha, in
Yes.
congregation, even, inshallah.
Okay.
Allah to
So
live and
jazakumullah
Yes.
khairan jaza for that. I mean, for that suggestion. We
Ameen.
will reflect over it, inshallah ta'ala, and then get back. We don't want to take a radical thing with that. But that suggestion of after Maghrib is also a very good one. We didn't think of that really. So, Sister
Now,
Rashida.
okay.
Go on.
Now,
Okay.
As regards my contribution, I have a wife with 5 children and 6 grandchildren. A relationship of almost 40 years. And then what do? I always reflect on the ayat of the Quran. I will quote Quran chapter 64, verse 14. At Surah to, I forgot the name of the Surah now. So 64, verse 14. Where Allah says, verily among your wives and your children will make some your enemy. If you can forgive, overlook, and cover up their faults, verily you will find Allah most forgiving, most merciful. Each time I reflect on that ayah, whatever my wife do to me, I just said to let it go. I never for once insult my wife. All those vagabonds, I don't use it. But we quarrel. In fact, if we don't even quarrel, I will assume there's something wrong. So we quarrel nearly every day. But it's okay, we move on. And that's how we're able to last for so long. I pray that every household holder, that is every man listening to me, will put it in their ideology that it is the right for your wife to annoy you. It is their right. It is now left for you now as the leader to know how to so that's and I'm sure you, Professor, you will have gone through a lot too. And then by being, keeping on taking it upon yourself that you are the head, you're supposed to take care of this woman. That's why you and your wife lasted so long.
I mean, Jazakumullah khairan jaza. That's really a very good contribution. Thank you so much for that advice. I mean, Surah Tagabun, you rightly mentioned it. I mean, if we reflect on all these, it really helps. The Quran has so many values, as our mothers have said. Thank you for that, contribution. We can take past maybe one more question if there is, before we round up for today.
We have 2 questions and 2 hand raised.
Okay, we have to be very, very brief about that.
Okay. Alhaji Aturashi, please.
Oh, don't share. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much for all the speakers, or I rather call them all the lecturers, without exception. I came in late. Sorry about that. So forgive me if I repeat anything that you have said rightly. But one thing I need to first of all say is what Professor Mashud Badeni has said. In fact, it struck me. For the elders group of man, we always we bring in people, we talk about will, we give them a sort of a sheet where everything is laid out, how you can make your will, and who you need to consult if you want to consult. But when Professor said one of the best way of ensuring that your will, your estate is distributed according to Islam is to actually put it in it. That you don't need to mention, oh, this is my Islamic will, because we know it doesn't work here and they won't accept it, just as the professor have said. So I'm very happy that everybody's hearing this, and particularly my elders group. So please go this way, or you may consult with a professor after that. That is done. The other bit is, in the area of power of Anthony, I'd like to remind this audience, most of you may be aware of course, from the health and social care side,
when you look at a power of attorney, you know among your next of kin or among your nearest relatives, which could be anybody, doesn't necessarily have to be your blood ones. You can do it from anyone that pleases you. So there could be people you are giving that power for health, those who know things about health. Okay, when I'm doing this, when this is happening to me, please, you are in charge to take this decision. And you have another one for finance. That is also allowed. So you can divide this. It does not necessarily mean that somebody just have to handle both. If they don't have adequate knowledge on that, that may not serve you well when you are in that situation. And also when we talk about advanced decision making separate from will. When you look at how it is done in health and social care, with that advanced decision making, you are able to say the way you want things to be done when you are no longer able to do things for yourself, not necessarily becoming vegetable, but advanced decision taking is another thing that one could look into if you're really not sure of people around when you are no longer doing what you be able to do. That is when you have lost capacity. Jazakumullah khairan.
Jazakumullah khairan jaza. I mean, it's very important. Now, I mean, we always want to relate things to Islam. I mean, when the point of the power of attorney was mentioned, when in my practice in Nigeria, I had a very funny experience. There was an Alaji, is from Oro. Those, I mean, very good Islamic consciousness. And our chambers was Islam, and we were advising, he was getting old. And we told him, well, for us to be able to, he needs to do a power of attorney. He said, go. How will I do power of Anthony? Antonio Muslimina. A lot of the time people will misunderstand it. They like power. No, it's not power of Anthony. It is power of attorney. You are giving your attorney so Tabama Sofa Muslim, we have to pronounce it well, because if you call it power of Anthony, it puts a lot of material in practice, especially people who are not educated. Things like that. It's not Anthony, it is power of attorney. So it's very important that we put that in proper context, so that people will be able to, it will not scare people away. And will making is accepted in Islam, where we are. Even for you to be able to distribute your property Islamically, you can only do that through a will. Otherwise, it becomes really very messy at the end of the day. So may Allah elongate our lives and make it easy for every one of us, inshallah. Okay, I think we need to round up now, Rashida. Or do we still have?
We have one question. There is one question that I think maybe we might do maybe at a later date. It says views on organ donation.
Okay, we'll talk about that one later. Okay, Mala Olawale Hassan.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, yes. Thank you very much, Prof. When I indicated that I would like to talk, Ramadan said, I will not call you. Well, thank God. But,
okay,
your contribution is actually a very quick clarification. Not all our mothers who are being hosted today are members of MAN UK. And this is a platform that is involving everyone within the community. Likewise, that is the position of MAN today, inshallah. MAN is not just an organization on its own. No, it is the mother of all organizations. And this is the purpose of our coming together. May Allah Azza wa Jalla bless all of us. Allah Azza wa Jalla guide all of us and unite us. It's just a platform for us to do a lot of things together. May Allah bless us. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khairan jaza. May Allah reward you. Let us thank all our mothers. I'm now starting the reverse now. Alaja Elias MBE, Alaja Fauzia Yusuf Jakari, Alaja B Akirili, and Alaja Muslim Adilani. Thank you so much. We have really benefited from your contributions tonight. May Allah put it on Mizan al-Khair. May Allah elongate you, and may Allah continue to increase you in wisdom and knowledge. You are good house makers. This is why you are able to make this contribution. May Allah continue to assist you in making your homes better and better and better. Before we go, the all you who believe for tonight will be Quran chapter 9, Surah At-Tawbah, ayah 119, which says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wa kunu ma'as sadiqin. It says, oh, you who believe, be conscious of Allah and always be among the truthful. He told you these are the panel of the truthful. Our mothers have told us the truth about how to make our homes, you know, so we should be, try as much as possible to, elevate ourselves to that level. May Allah make it easy for every one of us. We'll try and take a decision. I don't want us to be, really radical about it tonight. We'll reflect over it again, and then we'll perhaps maybe be able to communicate to us next week. We might need to do the same thing we did today next week, but then definitely next week will give us, a confirmation, whether it will be from 6 to 7:30, or maybe after Maghrib from 8 to 9:30, or maybe this same time and then break for Maghrib. So we'll be able to take a decision on that and then come back to you. Jazakumullahu khairan jaza. I'll hand over now back to Madan Shams to round us off. Madan Shams.
Alhamdulillah, 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 Rabbil Alameen. It has been so exciting today, a panel of mothers, and yet we all benefited. Inshallah, next week we'll have a panel of men, elderly men, who give us the same experience and perspectives. And I'm sure everybody will be able to learn one thing or another. Inshallah, thank you very much for your wisdom, for your time. May Allah continue to bless you. May Allah continue to make you successful homemakers. And all of us, may Allah make us part of the homemakers and not homebreakers. So until next week, inshallah, we'll see you again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Just under 60 seconds, I'm going to tell you why investing in this opportunity will change your life. Are you ready? Start the clock. Over 20 years ago, a group of believers acquired a derelict pub slap bang in the center of the Old Kent Road. As we've grown, so has our need for space. And we are embarking upon the journey of a lifetime to extend the good work of this masjid. And we need you to join us on this journey. Let me remind you of Allah's promise. Whoever builds a mosque for the sake of Allah, Allah will build for him a house in paradise. And it doesn't stop there. The masjid that we build will continue to give you rewards for as long as it remains standing, perhaps decades after you pass away. Think about all the people who attend the mosque to pray 5 times a day, every single day of the year. The Jummah service that is attended by hundreds of people, the hundreds of youngsters learning how to recite the Quran, and your fellow brothers and sisters breaking their fast in the month of Ramadan, right here in this masjid. Inshallah, you'll get a slice of the reward. All of these and more coming straight to your scale of good deeds. So what are you waiting for? Help us build this masjid. Sponsor a prayer space and get your friends, neighbors and loved ones to sponsor one too. Or even better, get together and sponsor a whole saf. And inshallah, watch how Allah elevates you in this life and the next.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان